Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Welcome to all the devotees for this exclusive question answer session. Sorry about the delay. There was some technical issue which has been sorted out now. I have some questions from the previous week's session, and after that I will take up today's questions. Please post your questions in the live chat. The first question here, in a lecture it was mentioned that committing suicide is not meeting the predestined death, but it's execution of our free will. Kindly help understand this better. In any body that we get, there is a certain duration of time we have to live in that body. It is given by higher authorities. The duration of life in the body, particular body that we get, is determined by the higher authorities based on our karma from the past. Now, if I think that I'm suffering in this body too much, and let me end the suffering by committing suicide, that means by personally trying to terminate this life in this body by some means, then I am violating the laws of nature. I'm violating the laws of nature. I cannot cut down the duration of life in this body by artificial means like committing suicide. It's not possible. I may try to do that, but I will not get the next body after leaving this body if the time is not completed. The duration of time living in this body is not being completed. Supposing I'm destined to live 80 years, and I terminate my life at 70 years, 70, due to whatever reasons. I don't think I can live in this body. I don't want to live. Then 10 years, I will not get my next body. 10 years, I will not get my next body. I will have to suffer as a ghost. That means I'll not have a gross body. And I'll be frustrated in trying to do normal activities because I don't have the instrument for doing normal activities, which is this gross body. So therefore, Shastras say, don't commit suicide. What about the suffering that I'm undergoing? Why would anybody commit suicide except when they're suffering? So you have to seek solution to solve the problem of suffering, not by committing suicide, but by taking to Krishna consciousness, by taking to spiritual life. That's the solution to your problem, not committing suicide. Committing suicide means you are complicating your problems. You are increasing your problem. Next question. Are the 16 bhavanas while chanting a personal insight of a devotee or a part of the scripture? Now, the scriptures do say that we have to chant with feeling. And in the scriptures in different places, the feelings of a devotee while engaging in devotional service have been described. So all this has been put together to make a presentation of how to systematically do this japa in such a way that we make systematic progress without simply engaging in a mechanical way. So it will be a proper way of doing japa to make rapid progress in Krishna consciousness and get that ultimate perfection very quickly. That is the whole idea here. Next question. Can personalities in heavenly planets not earn more punya by doing pious activities so that they can continuously live there? Yes, those in higher planets, if they keep doing pious activities, then they earn more punya and they can live longer. Yes, but no place in the entire universe is a permanent place of residence, because every place there is a maximum duration one can stay. Maximum duration. So the life on any planet, in any body, is going to come to an end. And time is relative. I may think that those who are living on heavenly planets, they have fantastic long duration of time as compared to us human beings on the earth. But the demigods in heavenly planets, their sense of time is like, oh, I have got my 100 years to live. That's how they think. An ant is living its 100 years. I, as a human being, I am living my 100 years. And the devatas are living their 100 years. Though each of these time scales are different, it's not the same. But each one gets adjusted to his or her time scale in the particular planet. So they don't think or they don't feel that they have a fantastic long duration. Though by calculation they can ascertain, yes. Just like you, as a human being, you can ascertain that an ant lives, let's say, for 5 hours, according to your time scale. Now you may say, ant lives such a short life. I have got so much more time as compared to an ant. But that is no reason for you to rejoice that you have got a very, very long lifespan as compared to an ant. No, because you are accustomed to living your 100 years. So for you, time is passing by and you're counting, oh, 1 year is over, 6 months are over, or 10 years are over. Like that, you're counting. You are not counting in terms of the ant's lifespan. So like that, it is actually relative that somebody can live longer in a higher planet. It's simply relative time. We are meant for eternal life in the spiritual world. So we should simply aim to go to the spiritual world, to live in association with Krishna, an eternal life free from all miseries. That is what the scriptures are advising us. Next question. In Radha Shamsundar temple Vrindavan, the temple priest does not accept any offering for the deities. Kindly explain why the system. I really don't know why the priest will not accept any offering for the deities. But every temple has got a certain system and a certain tradition. That's a fact. But I don't know the reason why this temple priest will not accept any offering. I have no idea. I have been to the temple, but I have not attempted to make any offering, so I don't know about this. But even if the temple priest does not accept, you can always go in front of the deities and hold an offering in your hand. This is a system followed in Vrindavan. Okay? Those who bring, let's say, some sweets for offering to Lord or some fruits, just hold it up in front of the deity and you make the offering. by saying prayers. If you don't know the prayers, you just say Hare Krishna 3 times. And then you take the remnants as prasadam of Radha Shamsundar. That's all. Next question. In Srimad Bhagavatam 3rd Canto 4th chapter, Uddhava's Bhakti Seva is explained. It is stated that he is the topmost Bhakta and superior to sage Maitreya. Can you please explain this? Yes, Srila Prabhupada says in 3rd Canto that Uddhava is the constant companion of Krishna, and Krishna himself declared before he wound up his pastimes in this world, when he appeared 5,000 years back, he said that Uddhava should stay back to actually give association to the people in general and explain to them the principles of Krishna consciousness as taught by Krishna personally to Uddhava. So Krishna actually instructed Uddhava, and the details of that instruction of Krishna to Uddhava is given in the 11th canto of the Bhagavatam. And Maitreya happened to be also present when Krishna was instructing Uddhava. So Maitreya also heard from Krishna. And Maitreya did later on explain Krishna consciousness as he heard from Krishna while Krishna was instructing Uddhava. Maitreya explained that to Vidura. So Maitreya is also knowledgeable like Vidura, Uddhava, but Uddhava is more intimately related to Krishna in devotional service. So this difference in the intimacy does exist. Not only Uddhava is more intimate than Maitreya, but the gopis are more intimate than the other devotees in Vrindavan. So like that, there is a difference in the intimacy. But every devotee can be fully satisfied in his or her position or particular relationship with Krishna by rendering service to Krishna in that relationship. Pure devotional service. That's completely satisfying for the devotee. Even though there is a difference in the degree of intimacy between different devotees in their relationship with Krishna. That's there. Next question. Why one day we leave the shelter with the Lord and we want to enjoy ourselves? From where this anartha has come? Now, please understand, the scriptures explain we cannot trace the beginning of our material existence. Anadi karma phale padi bhava navajale taribare nadeki upai. This is what Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur says in a song, that our karma is called anadi. Anadi means beginningless karma. We can't trace the beginning of our karma or our material existence or our entanglement in this material world. We can't trace it. So we have been here for very, 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 very long time. And now it's important for us to get out of this material existence to finish all our suffering, all the miseries in this material world. So rather than try to find out when did our karma begin, how did we come here, why did we leave the association of Krishna, so trying to find that out, it is worthwhile to simply prepare ourselves to go back to Godhead, to go back to Krishna. And after going to Krishna, we can ask all these questions and try to figure out anything. But Krishna himself gives an assurance that once you come back to my abode in the spiritual world, you'll never come back to this material world. Yad gatva na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Very clearly Krishna says, he says in the Bhagavad-Gita. Mamupetya purjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanaha. Those who are pure devotees they never again take birth in this material world, having reached my abode in the spiritual world. Krishna says that in the 8th chapter, 15th verse. So, when Krishna is giving this assurance, why should we doubt Krishna's words? Why should we try to find out how did we leave Krishna's association? Why did we leave Krishna's shelter? When did we leave Krishna's abode? Don't get into this. Next question. As for the will of Srila Prabhupada, there must be a Shiksha Guru in every temple. So in this regard, kindly explain what is the role of a Shiksha Guru and who is our current Shiksha Guru. Shiksha Guru means one who gives instructions in Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada's system is that every temple, there will be a temple president and there will be other devotees who are getting trained in Krishna consciousness, not only trained in Krishna consciousness for their own practice, but also to preach to others. So all the preachers are Shiksha Gurus in a temple. All the preachers are Shiksha Gurus. And their leader is the temple president. That's the system Prabhupada is set up in every temple. But as regards a particular devotee's position, who is the particular Shiksha Guru for the devotee? Actually, Prabhupada is a primary Shiksha Guru. Because Prabhupada is giving instruction through his books, through his letters, through his discourses, lectures, through his conversations, through his writings. Every way, Prabhupada is giving Shiksha, giving instructions. So you follow by reading Prabhupada's books, and also you can discuss with other devotees. You can ask questions like you're asking now. You can ask questions and get clarification. But the answers you receive must be from Prabhupada's books only. That is important. You should find the answers in Prabhupada's books. So take guidance for that. And then all your questions will be answered by Prabhupada because he has answered everything. Bhagavatam contains answers to all questions pertaining to spiritual life. There's a chapter in the Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 10th chapter. The title is Srimad Bhagavatam is the answer to all questions. So when I first read that title, that is when I thought I understood. Prabhupada said, whatever I have to say, I've said in my books. That's because Prabhupada has given us the translation of Bhagavatam. And Bhagavatam contains everything about spiritual life. So all the questions pertaining to spiritual life are answered in the Bhagavatam. That's the standard of the Bhagavatam. Next question. Was Gautam Buddha an incarnation of Sri Krishna? Because he didn't believe in God, and I think Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the 9th incarnation. What do the scriptures say? Okay, Gautam Buddha is described as one of the incarnations of Krishna listed in the list of 10 incarnations of the Supreme Lord Krishna called Dashavatara by one great saintly poet, Jayadev Goswami. Jayadev Goswami has written one Dashavatara Stotra in which he describes 10 avatars or incarnations of Krishna. 9th one he describes as Gautam Buddha, as Buddha. He's also called Gautam Buddha. Now, Gautam Buddha, he appeared at a time when animal killing was rampant in the name of following Vedas. So for such people who had become very cruel-hearted and were mercilessly killing animals indiscriminately, Buddha came to stop them. And in order to stop them, he preached a philosophy which rejects the Vedas. Rejects the Vedas. So Srila Prabhupada explains, when Vedas are not received through the Parampara system, there is every possibility that the Vedic message will be misunderstood. So scriptures allow offering a goat in sacrifice to Kali, and remnants of such offering may be taken by those who are very strongly desiring to eat animal flesh. Scriptures allow in a very, very restricted way. But people don't receive the Vedic knowledge through the proper source, then they wrongly understand or misinterpret the Vedas, and they become more and more entangled in this material world. So therefore, Buddha did not preach directly from the scriptures, but he taught ahimsa, non-violence, to stop these animal killers from simply going on killing animals. That's all. And because he is the powerful incarnation of God, he could stop them. He stopped them from killing animals. Next question. For intelligence, one must worship the Pradyumna form. For getting free from mental disturbance, one must worship Aniruddha. The Lord is absolute, then why has this difference been created? There is no difference between Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and all the other personal forms of the Lord. Because Lord is one. There is only one person, Krishna. He appears in different forms like Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Vasudeva, Keshava, Sankarshana, Narayana, so many forms. All of them are one person. But in different forms, he performs different functions. He relates with devotees in specific ways in different forms or different incarnations. So that is the reason the scriptures describe many different forms or expansions or incarnations of Krishna. All of them are Krishna only. All of them are unlimited. Each one of them is unlimited. They are not limited persons. They don't belong to this world. They belong to the spiritual world. So that's why Lord is absolute means he is non-different from his name, form, quality, pastimes, his paraphernalia, his abode. That means when he is present, he is there with his abode, with his devotee, pure devotees, with his names, with his qualities, with his activities. Everything is there. That's the meaning of Lord is absolute. Next question. Which form of Krishna should one constantly remember, as we have not seen the actual form? The form of Krishna one should remember is according to the description of the form of Krishna in the scriptures, or according to the form of Krishna in the form of deity in a temple which has got an authorized system of worshipping Krishna, authorized system of installing the deity, etc. So, temples established by great acharyas of Krishna, Krishna temples established by the sincere followers of the acharya, exactly according to the rules. So, all such forms are suitable forms for meditation or constant remembrance. Next question. We came into this material world due to our free will and being independent. After we return, we may again develop this attitude after some time. In such a case, do we come back again? Now, Krishna says, the Bhagavad-Gita, having gone to the spiritual world, personal abode of Krishna, you don't come back. Why? Because going to the spiritual world is possible only if you re-establish your relationship with Krishna in loving devotional service. So once that love is awakened, that love is very, 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 very powerful. It is so much attracted to Krishna, so much attached to Krishna. Even a moment's separation you cannot withstand, you cannot tolerate. You will never want even a moment's separation. Krishna is so very dear to each one of us. So now we cannot conceive all that. You just accept the scriptures and you follow the principles and you go back to Godhead and never again come back. Though it's a fact that after we go back to the spiritual world in pure devotional service, our free wills always exist, even in the spiritual world. Yes, the free will be there. But because of love of Krishna, you will not misuse your free will. That is the point. It is only misuse of free will that results in our falling down into material existence. But if somebody does not misuse their free will, then there's no question of falling down. Next question. In Bhagavad-Gita 8.23, what is meant by the term presiding deity of time? Isn't this always Lord Krishna? Time is one of the energies of Krishna. So presiding deity of time means Krishna has got different agents in this material world who are presiding deities over different material affairs. So the presiding deity of time on behalf of Krishna, exactly according to the will of Krishna, the presiding deity will control or carry out the functions. That is the way it's working in this material world. Next question. In Bhagavad-Gita 8.24, it is said, if a man or an animal leaves the body accidentally during the auspicious time, then they will not return to the cycle of birth and death, irrespective of the sin or consciousness. So this is a question. Is it true? Now, accidentally somebody leaves at an auspicious time, what does it mean? Let us try to understand this word, accidentally. Accidentally here does not mean by some chance. No, it's not that. Here it means they don't have the yogic siddhi to choose the time when they want to leave their body. Such people, if their death happens at an auspicious time, then that is arrangement of the Supreme Lord, that such a person does not take birth again in this material world, but goes to the spiritual world. So that is awarded by Krishna. That is called accidentally leaving the body at auspicious time. Accidentally here means not because the person has got the yogic siddhi to leave at an auspicious time. So such people don't choose, neither they can choose nor do they choose the time of leaving the body. So then whatever time they leave the body is the time they are forced to leave the body. They're forced to leave the body. So that time can be an auspicious time also. It need not be only inauspicious time. So that is decided by higher authorities. Ultimately it's Krishna who decides that. And Krishna awards his devotees freedom from the cycle of birth and death by delivering them. So if Krishna wants to deliver someone, then who can stop Krishna? And such people who are delivered by Krishna, they don't come back to this material. So become a devotee of Krishna, Krishna will deliver you and you never come back. You don't have to worry about what time you leave the body or what time is auspicious. You don't have to worry about all. Next question. Devotees in ISKCON are doing yajna for Mahalakshmi, Akshaya Tritiya. Aren't they convinced that chanting is the only means with which we can please Krishna? Now, you are right in telling that chanting is the only thing necessary to please Krishna in this age. Chanting and hearing the holy name of Krishna is enough. But that does not mean a devotee will avoid other methods of rendering service, devotional service, other methods of engaging in devotional service. There are so many ways a devotee can engage in devotional service. There is variety of activities in devotional service. Just like even those who are chanting Hare Krishna, they also hear Bhagavatam. They also worship the deity. They also offer food and accept prasadam. They also perform kirtan. They also discuss Krishna Katha with other friends, acquaintances, relatives, or some new persons. They preach. So there are varieties of activities. That does not mean the other types of activities are prohibited because chanting is enough. Rather, the other activities will convince the devotee that, that such a devotee has to take up the chanting process very sincerely and perfect the chanting process to please Krishna and go back to God. So all other activities are helping the devotee who's chanting to chant better, to perfect the chanting, to go back to Godhead after perfecting the chanting. That's all. It is not against Krishna consciousness. It is not substitute for chanting, but they are all supplementary activities which will only enhance chanting. Next question. Should one visit only those places as visited by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? No, there is no rule like this, that you should visit only holy places visited by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. No. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching as Acharya, you should visit holy places and worship the Lord, being worshipped in that holy place, and accept prasadam and hear the glories of the Lord in the place which he performed pastimes, like that. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching, but it is not that one should only visit places visited by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He visited some places. There are many more places. So it's no prohibition. You can visit any of the holy places connected with the pastimes of the Supreme Lord in his various incarnations and his devotees and his activities, etc. Next question. How can one be immune from evil eye or Naradrushti by practicing Krishna consciousness, as we have so many people with envious or demonic tendencies currently? Now, it's a fact. People are envious and they try to cast a curse by expressing their envy towards another devotee. But Krishna consciousness is protection given by Krishna. If you become Krishna conscious, you practice Krishna consciousness, Krishna will protect you against all such evil-minded people, against all the miseries of material existence, against all calamities that may come. Krishna is there to protect you. Bhakti means we come under the complete shelter of Krishna and we should have the faith Krishna will protect me under all circumstances. Next question. Can the reading of transcription of Srila Prabhupada lecture be considered as equal to reading his books? Yes, 100%. This is a fact. Next question. Krishna calls the soul as achala, immovable. We also see that the soul moves from one body to another. How to understand this? Now, when Krishna describes the soul as achala or immovable, it means that we are all fixed in our relationship with Krishna. We have a very specific relationship with Krishna, each one of us, and we are fixed up in that relationship. That is the meaning of achala or immovable. Next question. Is the thinking, feeling and willing at present coming from mind or soul? How does the mind desire when it is a function of the soul? The thinking, feeling and willing are functions of the soul. But in the present condition when we have a body and a mind, our thinking, feeling, willing is expressed through the mind, by the soul, by you. By you, you express your feelings, your thoughts, your will, by using an instrument called the mind. That's all. Mind is an instrument. But the soul is the source. You are the source. So you are thinking, you are feeling, you are willing. Next question. Is every Brahma pure devotee? Is a present Brahma pure devotee? Every Brahma need not be a pure devotee. Generally, Brahma is a pure devotee. Present Brahma is certainly a pure devotee. But every Brahma need not be a pure devotee. That is what the scriptures say. Next question. What is the meaning of make friendship with devotees? Okay. Now, in choosing whom to make our friend or establish a friendship with, whom should we establish? Shastra's guidance is don't make friendship with non-devotees because their association is very, very bad for you. Make friendship with devotees so that their association, devotees association is very good, is very positive, is very helpful for Krishna consciousness. Next question. If everything is spirit for Krishna, what does it mean? Does that mean matter is conscious in Krishna's perspective? Can it think, feel, and will like a soul? Okay. For Krishna, everything is spirit. For pure devotees also, everything is spirit. But for us, conditioned souls, there is something called matter. Only because of our desire to enjoy materially, of our desire to lord over matter, of our desire to exploit material resources. That is why we perceive a difference between spirit and matter. But when we utilize matter in Krishna's service, matter becomes like spirit. Matter becomes like spirit. And then it can be used in such a way that it is spirit. Devotees, when they use matter, for devotees, that matter is also spirit. It is not matter anymore. So in that way, devotees don't get entangled in material complexities by having this vision. Next question. Kindly explain the difference between Pancharatrik Vidhi and Vaidika Vidhi. Pancharatrik Vidhi is following the Narada Pancharatra. Narada Muni has given the rules and regulations to be followed for deity worship in a scripture called Pancharatra scripture. Now, Vaidika Vidhi is Vedic texts called Agama Shastra. The rules and regulations to be followed in worship of deity is also given. Now, each of these have got some differences in some details. But overall, there is no essential difference whether somebody follows Pancharatrik Vidhi or Vaidika Vidhi. In our ISKCON system, we follow Pancharatrik Vidhi. We follow Pancharatrik Vidhi in ISKCON system. But there are other Vaishnavas who follow Vaidika Vidhi. So either way, it's okay. But one should have a proper system to follow based on the teachings of a particular acharya. Just like Prabhupada has taught us Pancharatrik Vidhi. So we all follow Pancharatrik Vidhi. All followers of Prabhupada, they only follow Pancharatrik Vidhi and not Vaidika. Next question. Lord Brahma is a demigod. Indra is the king of demigods. Please clarify how Brahma is also the god of Indra when Indra is the king of Brahma. Now, when it is said Indra is the king of demigods, please understand, demigods live in Swarga Loka. Those demigods who live in Swarga Loka, they have got a king called Indra. Brahma does not live in Swarga Loka. He is a demigod, but he does not live in Swarga Loka. He lives in Brahma Loka. He is the topmost among all the Devatas. He is a leader of all the Devatas. All the administrators, other than Shiva and Vishnu, Brahma is the chief of all other devatas. Now Vishnu is counted as a devata because he's functioning like a demigod. But Vishnu is not a demigod. He's not in the category of demigod, not in the category of devata. Vishnu is the supreme personality of God. Shiva is neither a jiva like Brahma, nor is Shiva Vishnu in the category of Vishnu. Shiva is in a category by himself called Shiva Tattva. He's midway between a human and a jiva, a living entity, and Vishnu. Shiva is in between. So therefore, Shiva is in his own position or own status. Brahma is subordinate to Shiva and Vishnu, both. But Indra is subordinate to Brahma also. And all the other devatas are subordinate to Brahma. So, Brahma is God of Indra means Brahma is the leader of all the devatas. So in that way, Brahma is the superior. Next question. Why is onion and garlic not allowed to offer to Krishna? And that's because onion and garlic are in the category of tamasic food. Tamasic food is not to be offered to Krishna. Only sattvic food can be offered to Krishna. Because we study the 14th chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita, it explains food in the foods which are sattvic, foods which are rajasic, foods which are tamasic, what are the characteristics. So, Krishna does not accept any tamasic food. So, onion garlic is tamasic, so it is not to be offered to Krishna. And the effect of eating onion and garlic is that it makes us tamasic. It makes us tamasic. Tamasic means we go deeper into ignorance. Already by birth in the material world, we are all in ignorance. And by tamoguna, we go deeper into ignorance. We don't want to go deeper into ignorance. So we don't eat any tamasic food, neither we will offer that to Krishna. Next question. Krishna said that there is always a competition of supremacy among the modes of nature. And he is said to be transcendental to them. But how to overcome them? Krishna himself says, yes, there is competition between the modes. So sometimes the Sattva-guna dominates, sometimes the Rajo-guna dominates, sometimes the Tamo-guna dominates. But as devotees practicing Krishna consciousness, we are not concerned with any of these three gunas. Our focus or our goal is how to rise above the three gunas by coming to the spiritual platform through practice of devotional service. In the 14th chapter, 26th verse, Krishna says, Sarvasya chaham ribi, he says, Mam chayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Krishna says, anybody who renders pure devotional service to me, they transcend all the three gunas. They rise above the three gunas. They come to the spiritual platform. And on the spiritual platform, they are free from the influence of the gunas. So how to overcome the gunas? By rendering pure devotional service. How do you render pure devotional service? By chanting Hare Krishna and hearing the holy name, sound of the holy name without any offenses. Next question. Are Sri Vishwarupa and Sri Nityananda Prabhu both Lord Balaram in the spiritual world? Yes, both are Balaram. Next question. Why did Lord Chaitanya accept the second wife when he was to take sannyas and not be a householder? Now, please understand, all activities of Lord Chaitanya are his leela, his pastimes. While performing pastimes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving pleasure to his devotees, and also he himself takes pleasure in performing his activities called pastimes. Now, as part of his pastimes, he also teaches, performing his pastimes, he also teaches us that even though he had a wife and his mother was very loving and caring, staying at home, and there was nobody to take care of his wife or mother when he left home to take sannyas, still, in spite of all these situation, he took sannyas for the welfare or the welfare work he wanted to do for the entire human society on the earth planet. So one may sacrifice, make a sacrifice in order to help people come out of illusion, to guide people on path of Krishna consciousness. One will make a sacrifice. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching, devotees should be ready to make sacrifice. Next question. In the Panchatattva mantra, what is significance of the word Sri Krishna Chaitanya? Is it Mahaprabhu's full name? Mahaprabhu's full name is Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's the full name. So yes, it is the full name of Mahaprabhu, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Next question. What happens to the person who utters Krishna's name at the time of his death, but during his lifetime didn't practice Krishna consciousness? This never happens. That somebody did not practice Krishna consciousness and they utter Krishna's name at the time of it. Never happens. Krishna's name can appear on the tongue of a person who's blessed by Krishna. And Krishna blesses those who are practicing Krishna consciousness, those who are praying to him, those who are surrendered to him, those who are his devotees. Such people Krishna blesses. Next question. Can anyone get initiated without informing parents, and what's the difference between first initiation and second initiation? Now, without informing parents means if parents are against your practicing Krishna consciousness, then such parents have not understood the real purpose of life. They are not able to guide properly their children or son or daughter, whatever. So such parents obviously need not be consulted whether one should do devotion service or not, etc. What's the difference between first initiation and second initiation? First initiation means the Diksha in which you receive the holy name from the spiritual master in the form of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And you take a vow when you receive first Diksha to actually agree to chant 16 rounds every day of the Hare Krishna mantra and to follow 4 regulative principles without fail rest of the life in order to make your life successful and go back to God. Second initiation is where devotees receive the Gayatri mantra and they properly chant the Gayatri mantra every day 3 times. So that is called second initiation. Now, this second initiation is necessary if somebody wants to worship deity in the temple. The Gayatri Japa has to be done for somebody who wants to worship deities in the temple. So I will stop here and I'll take the remaining questions in the next week's exclusive QA session. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.